In this video, we will go over the anatomy of the sphenoid bone. We have one sphenoid bone in the skull. We can see at this side, this right here is the sphenoid bone. This is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. Also on the other side, this right here is the sphenoid bone. If we take the skull cap off, we can see this entire bone that forms the middle cranial fossa is the sphenoid bone. This part right here is the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. That's the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. We can see the greater wing of the sphenoid bone right here. The sphenoid bone, it forms part of the orbit. The first opening within the sphenoid bone is the optic canal. The optic canal right here, this opening on both sides is part of the sphenoid bone. Also, the superior orbital fissure only is part of the sphenoid bone. The inferior orbital fissure is not part of the sphenoid bone. So on the interior aspect, we can see the optic canal right here, which is part of the sphenoid bone, and we can see right here the superior orbital fissure. This slit in the bone and right here. This saddle-shaped structure in the sphenoid bone is the Sella Turcica. The Sella Turcica is where the pituitary gland is located. We can see the lesser wing right here, and this is the greater wing. Let's move to the three openings within the sphenoid bone. We have 1, 2, and 3. The first opening anteriorly, meaning toward the cribriform plate, toward the frontal bone, this is the foramen rotundum. Foramen rotundum. Posterior to it, we have the foramen ovale. So that is the foramen ovale. And posterior to it, we have the foramen spinosum. So right here, we have the foramen spinosum. To remember their order on the sphenoid bone, you can remember the word Ross, which is the clothing store, R-O-S, foramen rotundum, foramen ovale, foramen spinosum. This opening right here, there is the foramen lacerum. We talked about the foramen lacerum in the anatomy of the temporal bone video. The foramen lacerum is formed by 3 bones: the temporal bone, the occipital bone, and the sphenoid bone. Moving to the inferior aspect of the skull, right here, we can see the foramen ovale and the foramen spinosum. These 2 foramens, we can see them on the inferior aspect of the skull. This right here is the foramen lacerum. Let's go over the parts of the sphenoid bone on this model. So this bone in blue is the sphenoid bone. We took away the maxilla and the zygomatic bone, the nasal bone. So let's take away the ethmoid bone. Let's take away the frontal bone as well. Now we can see the sphenoid bone. This right here is the superior orbital fissure, which is this part right here. Notice that the inferior orbital fissure is not part of the sphenoid bone. The second opening, we can see the optic canal, which is optic canal is right here. We can also see part of the sphenoid sinus. Right here, we can see the foramen rotundum. We can see the foramen ovale. And this is the foramen spinosum. This right here is the foramen lacerum, which is formed by 3 bones: the sphenoid, the temporal bone, and the occipital bone. We can also see the Sella Turcica right here.